All right, it looks like we're live. How's it going, guys? Today we're going to talk about how I was able to sell $700,000 on Amazon FBA this year. Obviously, that's not all profit, but it ended up being around 75,000 of profit so far this year in the last 12 months. So I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, we're basically going to break down the components of an Amazon FBA store. That way, you're going to be able to break down what you need to do in order to actually scale the business the way that you want to. So, I would say the very basic level of how to grow your Amazon FBA store is basically thinking about how you can improve in your prep, improve in how much capital you have invested in the business, and how you can improve in your sourcing. If you're going to be able to do well in those three areas, you're going to end up doing really well. So your prep, the stuff that you're purchasing, are you able to get it prepped for you in a fast amount of time? Your capital, like if you have $2,000, $3,000 invested in your business, you're not going to be able to do hundreds of thousands of dollars a year unless you're doing like books or something. And then sourcing. If you're not able to regularly find profitable products, it's just going to be hard to scale your business. So learning how to get better at all three of these things in whatever niche that you're selling in is going to be really key for your growth as an Amazon seller. So I think first of all, the thing that people struggle with the most is probably sourcing. And I think a lot of it does come down to what exactly are you looking for in your items? Like, are you kind of trying to sell a little bit of whatever from a bunch of different types of sites? Potentially, if you do it like this, you're going to give yourself the opportunity to figure out something that you like and something that you can stick with. But the point is being able to find something that you like and that you can stick with, because if, let's say, you do Nike and you're really good at Nike and you really know how to find the sales, really know how to do the discount codes, all that, you're going to be good at that. You're going to have an advantage over some random person who finds a lead from Nike. Whereas if you're kind of just doing all types of different things, you're going to kind of be a jack of all trades and good at nothing. You're not going to understand how to use those discount codes. You're not going to understand the patterns of the sites that you're shopping from. You're not going to be able to get the best margin, and you're going to be the one who's going to be forced to not sell those ASINs anymore because they're just not profitable enough. So kind of figuring out what you like and what types of things you're wanting to really put your focus into and get better at is going to be really helpful when scaling your Amazon FBA store. And then I would say prep is next, because I know for me last year, I was doing books. I was doing 10 to 20K a month doing books, and prepping all those books was taking me a really long time. And so very quickly, I decided that it was worth my time to hire a neighbor to just drop the books off at her house. I set her up with a Dymo. I set her up with Inventory Lab and trained her how to list my books. And basically that freed my time up to be able to get much, much better at sourcing. And with online arbitrage as well, when I got into that, I realized eventually after I was doing 10, 15 hours of prep every single week, my time's better spent if I could outsource a lot of this, So I ended up working with prep centers. I've been working with prep centers for around the last year now, and that's helped me get better at sourcing and get me to the point where I can start to get quite a bit better at sourcing. And we got RW in the chat. Good to see you, RW. Good afternoon to you. Good night to me because it's dark here. Good to see you. And then I would say the final part of being able to scale your Amazon FBA store to the point that you want it is capital. Because again, like I was saying, if you have $3,000 invest into your Amazon FBA store. You're not going to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales. That just doesn't necessarily make sense. Oftentimes your cost of goods is, this is super wide, but anywhere from 30 to 50% of your sales is going to be your cost of goods in a regular online arbitrage business. And so like thinking about 500K in sales over a year, that's going to be 30 to 50% of that is going to be your cost of goods. And so that's going to be cycling through your inventory and through your store. So getting creative with different ways that you can get capital at a very basic level. Are you going to be able to continue to reinvest in your business? Is that something that you can do for a while? Is there any way that you can lower your cost of goods? What I mean, your cost of living. So instead of having to withdraw $4,000 from your business every single month, can you get it to a point where you can withdraw $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for a period of time? That way you can put those profits back into your business and therefore have more and more capital every single month to roll back into profitable inventory. Other ways that people get capital is they'll open like a 0% APR credit card. With credit, I would strongly advise caution. Make sure that you're very profitable first. And it does come with a very significant kind of like anxiety risk almost. A lot of people, it just, the pressure of that doesn't do well for them. So definitely assess whether that's going to be good for you or not. For me, when I scaled, especially early last year, I was scaling with a lot of credit. I started last year with around, I think, $10,000 in my business. And then I did a 0% APR card for $10,000. And then I opened more credit cards, and that money that I was spending from that credit was invested into inventory, which sold and then sold for profit. And I was able to pay off those cards and keep rolling that profit back into my store. And now I think I'm in credit around $5,000. So most of my store right now is cash, very close to out of credit with that. And basically that came from having a lot invested into the business, making profit from the business and rolling those profits back into the business, and then eventually paying off that credit. So that's the way I did it. Also, there's been plenty of people like Bacon Bagel, Josiah, for example, who they've just been reinvesting back into their business, and they've done very well. And they are running completely on cash and doing 100K plus months. So it's very, very possible for you to be able to do that. It does take time. It does take skill. But being able to work through and master prep, capital, and sourcing is really going to help you get to the next level. And when you're having problems in your business, think about, is it because of prep that I am wasting a lot of time and not getting anywhere? Is it because of capital? Do I not have enough money invested in the business? Or is it just because something is wrong with my sourcing? I'm finding products that are getting a lot of returns. I'm finding not enough ROI. I'm finding they're moving too slow. There's a lot of different factors going into why there could be problems in your Amazon FBA business. All cash, RW says exactly. That's the anxiety-free way to do it. Basically, right now, I'm literally gonna just sit here and not spend any more money for, I think should be around a week, and I'll be out of debt. So I'm really looking forward to that. But most likely going to need capital if I'm going to scale. Yeah, I mean, if you have money outside of your business somewhere that you could bring into it, that you feel confident bringing into the business, that'll work for you. RW, I know you're doing quite well as well. I know for me, one way that I'm dealing with capital issues is basically being more selective about what I'm purchasing. Like for example, now when I'm replenishing my stuff, I go into Inventory Lab into ASIN profitability. And go back and look and actually get the report on, all right, how many refunds did this have? What was my ROI after all those refunds? And how much profit have I actually made on this ASIN all time? Because once you actually see those numbers and you're like, oh, I thought this was really profitable, but it was like 14% ROI because like stuff went wrong, the price went down, that's not the best thing to spend your money on. There's better things to spend your money on. So that way you and we can be scaling and doing better with less money. Because that's the point. Why have more invested if we don't need to have more invested? So yeah, we'll just be live for a little while longer. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Any thoughts? It's always good to bounce thoughts off you, RW. I feel like you're doing really well, especially in the grocery category. But yeah, if anybody else has questions as well, I'll be around answering questions and just hanging out because it's Wednesday night today. If my items drop below 20% ROI, I hold off on buying the item. Yeah, it's a good point. And I'm a very data-driven person. And so being able to see the inventory lab say like, yes, this made 33% ROI and you sold 23 units of this. And seeing that data gives me a lot more confidence to go ahead and rebuy and kind of like know what I'm getting into. I can't believe I was not looking at ASIN profitability all this time. But yeah, good to have you, RW. Thanks for coming. I'll just be hanging out here and answering any questions. It's Wednesday night. Good night today. I ordered a bunch of stuff today, and the FedEx guy like handed me a handful of boxes. He's like, "Oh, there's a lot more." He had so much stuff. Hey Seth, how many products a day are you finding? Yeah, I'm gonna put a little disclaimer to that question too, because like someone could find like 200 products a day, but they could be low ROI items that just like $1 profit, like 80 cents profit. And you're just like, all right, well, that's like $80 profit. That's all right. The other day I found one product that was $800 profit. It was a buy cost of $660, and the plan is to sell it for $1,800. And I've sold one for $1,800 before. And then there's other days. There's some days where I have a lot of capital that I can spend, and then there's other times like now where it's been Q4 for quite a while, and I've been pretty tapped out for a while. So yeah, it really depends on the type of sourcing that I'm doing. Today, I was wanting bulk items, basically items that it's going to be a really good customer experience. It's going to make a little bit of money. It's going to boost my feedback. It's going to make my account stronger. So I was finding items like that today, and I purchased around 110 units today. And I don't know if you mean like new specific ASINs or units. Because a lot of the time with like the profitable stuff for myself, I'm kind of restocking, and the average selling price is all over the place as well. Like sometimes it's literally a $30 item. Sometimes it's probably the highest would be like an $1,800 item. That's not normal. Normal high is like 400 maybe. I'm going to be right back, guys. I'm going to put something in the oven. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. We got Howard Hospitality Group. I love the name. What did you say you couldn't believe you weren't looking at this whole time? Yeah, so let's see. I can show you instead of tell you. So it's basically an inventory lab report. So I'm going to go ahead and show this real quick. I can't click into it because it's going to show all of my ASINs that I like. But basically, if you use the software Inventory Lab, basically it has a bunch of different features here. Two features that I really like is the reports and profit loss. That's a really good one. But specifically this ASIN profitability, basically you're going to be able to search within the last month, 3 months, 6 months, all time by ASIN. And that's going to give you a breakdown of your profitable ASINs. And so that's going to be really helpful for kind of knowing, like, I sent these 10 items in. Did it actually pan out the way I thought it was going to pan out? Really valuable information. Because I know for me, there were times I was selling a lot of used items this year. And so basically, a lot of those items had higher return rates than I thought. And so I was sending in like 60% ROIs or whatever. But then there would be refunds and the ROI would go down lower than expected. So it just wasn't the best use of capital. Yeah, it is a new background, Jose. I'm downstairs right now instead of upstairs, but really good taste from my my parents and my wife on that one. I really like it. I'm curious, does anybody happen to know in Inventory Lab, you know, the Small and Light program? I've sent a few items in Small and Light, and it looks like Inventory Lab is tracking it as if it wasn't Small and Light, which is making it look a lot less profitable than what it should be as Small and Light. I'm curious if anybody has ever dealt with that. And Polino11 is saying, I have a threshold of no lower than 35%. But at that ROI, I'm finding maybe 1 to 5 products a day. Like you said, some lower ROI or higher. I'm sourcing with Keepa and Seller Amp. What categories are you sourcing in? Maybe I can give some pointers. Maybe I can help if it's a category I have experience in. Because Keepa and Seller Amp are more like analysis tools. You can do some sourcing with Keepa, but they're basically like efficiency and information tools. They're not necessarily sourcing tools, I feel like. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love the mountains, and like there's a lake and stuff too. Jose says, hey, the other Jose Mata instead of Jose Hernandez. Hi, everyone. Thanks for going live tonight, Seth. Is this live going to be a marathon live like Echoes last night? We'll have to wait and see. We'll kind of wait until wait and see. I think. I don't think it's going to be as long as his. His was like 2.5 hours. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty long live probably. Jose says, I believe the fees for SNL are seen after Amazon provides the payout, and then they'll synchronize, and they don't show the fees immediately. Okay. So potentially if I go back in like 2-3 weeks, it'll change. That would be sick. Arpelinho 11 is saying toys, grocery, Nike, etc. What sourcing toys would you suggest? Unfortunately, that's one category I hardly ever source toys. Let's see if I can show you proof in my inventory lab. So in inventory lab, category profitability. Let's see if I can. Oh my word, this is kind of silly. All right. I'm going to show you guys real quick. I'll show you guys how little I've sourced toys. We'll just pull up my product profitability. So I'm here in inventory lab and reports, category profitability. And looking at toys, I've sold 108 units, $2,000 in revenue, and only 255 profit. I don't even remember what I sold. Yeah, I mean, I don't source many toys. Let's see, by profit, it's probably office. Yeah, I source a lot of office products. This is all time. This isn't just this year. But I like office a lot. Books, I've sold a lot of books. But that's like retail arbitrage. Like not like Ollie's or anything like that. It's like thrifting retail arbitrage. BIS Basic, there were a couple, I think there were office products and tools that were just in the BIS category for some reason, but they had sales, so I sent them in. And then also personal computer, and that's around $12,000 of profit. Shoes, I sold some shoes last Q4. Some sports. Oh, I think I did a lot of sports with RA. But yeah, I mean, primarily what I do, our Polino, is eBay to Amazon. So I'll find like high priced electronics, office products, computer accessories, and I'll source them for less on eBay, and then I'll sell them on Amazon. So in the description, if you guys are more curious about that, I do have a short free guide on that in the description below. If you're more curious about that. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that you can sell. I do like tools quite a bit. It's just been a newer category for me. I only gotten into tools maybe the last 3 months. Jose Hernandez says, oh, I hit the table. Says correct. Said about small and light. That's my understanding. Okay. Yeah. I hope that's the case, because it's a little discouraging when you send something in that you're like, this was supposed to be like a 20-30% ROI and it's showing like minus 15% ROI. You're just like, bro, like I sent it in right, correct? You feel a little dumb if you like send something in small and light, but then it wasn't actually small and light, and you're just like taking it in fees. We got Aman Salah saying, King, I appreciate it. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up. If you have any questions, let me know. Addis K says, I'm at over 2,500 units sold now, and I still never got one feedback. It feels like I'm blocked from getting feedbacks or something. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's kind of a lot to not have a feedback. But at the same time, it's not the worst thing in the world. It would be nice to get like one or two, but like honestly, if you can just like not get negatives, like just keep giving good customer service, it's not the end of the world. Like I think I've sold maybe like on my account total, maybe 10 to 12,000 units. And well, I'm not going to say how much feedback I have. But just feedback doesn't come very quickly. Hamda, welcome back. We saw you in the live stream a couple days ago. Hello, I'm trying to get engaged in grocery, beauty, books, and toys as well. If I can purchase 10 different items and get one single invoice, dude, that's like, do you understand how complicated that is? Just do one at a time. Like really just do one purchase for grocery, one purchase for beauty, one purchase for books, one purchase for toys. Like you're trying to do an extremely complicated thing. So I would not do that. Just do one at a time. We got our W back. Keep a seller amp. Best sourcing tools. Yes, sir. Best analysis tools, that's for sure. I love Keep and seller amp. Let's buy from Keep Addis K and I'll leave a review. I mean, we're separate enough. Like we don't have connections that it looks like we know each other in real life. So I mean, should be fine, right? Just risky stuff. Risky stuff. Amazon does not like feedback manipulation. Definitely wouldn't want that. Yeah, he gets it. He gets it. But yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like if you have zero feedback, like just the fact that you've sold 2,500 units, Amazon doesn't just ignore that and they're like, oh, he has no feedback, like he sucks. Like you've sold 2,500 units. I'm assuming those transactions have gone well, like not a ton of claims that are just not on your account and not getting removed, like not a ton of customer issues, not a ton of returns. Like if your return rate's low, if your issues are low, like Amazon's still going to really like your account and you'll do fine. Yeah, so we talked about this before. You're trying to do a too advanced thing. Just do one at a time. It's a good question, but it's just like, just seriously do one at a time. Like you're trying to do it like a 360 slam dunk when like you just need to lay it up. Like layups score just as well as 360 slam dunks. It's a good tip. I mean, like books are they're the highest ROI. I literally gave you the link to ungate it, I think around a week ago. So that's a great thing to get started with. And you could literally do them all in the same day, but like just do separate transactions. That's fine. Addis K is saying, yeah, I was just worried about not having any positive feedback to balance out a negative. Yeah, I feel that. Like if my first feedback ends up being negative, then I'll be at a 0% rating. Yeah. So the cool thing that I've discovered is like me personally, I think it's kind of funny slash like kind of a testament to how I was doing business earlier this year. I received a lot of negative feedback, and thankfully I was able to remove, like, auto remove, like most of it. So Amazon system, basically you can get feedback auto removed pretty quickly in most cases, especially if you're doing FBA. Are you doing FBA? No, it wouldn't kill your account. No, you'd be okay. You wouldn't have the strongest account, but like literally it would be okay. RW says, Hamda, you need an invoice for each item to get engaged in that category. Well, what he's wanting to do is he wants to purchase, he wants to do one purchase for like 5 categories. And like, I've heard of people doing like 2 brands in one purchase, but it's just like, just overcomplicating it. Like if you've never done an ungate before and you're trying to ungate 5 different things in one shot, like I get that you want to, but like, it's basically like trying to like, it's just way too complicated. Jose is saying, where's Cody? I thought he was going to be here. Yeah, so he was going to be here, but he ended up having a call last minute. Someone scheduled a call like completely last minute. So we're going to be on together tomorrow, actually. But he did a marathon live last night. I'm doing a live tonight. It's not going to be as long as his, but it's still going to be a pretty good long live, I think. Is he still sleeping after last night's live stream? He was on for a good 2.5 hours. RW saying Nerf and Legos. Yeah, that's a good one. Like I think you can do that in 2. Yeah, I mean, like, just do one at a time. Like if you like actually purchase something and get ungated in something, you're ahead of like 70% of people because they don't know how to get ungated in anything. Just do one purchase, get that invoice, upload it to Amazon. You'll understand how ungating works. You'll have confidence in how it works, and you'll be very confident to do grocery, beauty, and toys as well. So that's just how learning works. You do the very basic thing, and then you do a slightly more advanced thing, and it just keeps getting better and better from there. Jose says Barbie, Disney, Pokemon, Marvel, Minecraft, Hasbro, Hot Wheels, all major brands. It's crazy that Minecraft is a major brand these days, but I mean, it's a massive brand now. How times have changed. Adeus is saying, yeah, I only do FBA. I have over 80 ASINs, and so I'm selling different products, over 2,500 orders in different categories, and not one feedback. It's just so weird. I thought there had to be something wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're not getting negative feedback, which is great. If you get a negative feedback, maybe just take a note for a second. I'll explain how to get it removed. But you basically go to your Seller Central, you go to performance, feedback. So Seller Central, performance, feedback. And then when you get a feedback, on the right, there's going to be a section that says actions. And you can click that and you can click request removal. And then you say, yes, it does violate Amazon's policies. And basically, in that case, Amazon almost always removes it for you, which is super cool because I've removed like maybe like 5 to 10 negative feedback. It would have been bad if you couldn't remove those. Jose is saying you should take questions in live video format. That will be different than all the other gurus, Amazon gurus. Take in questions in live video format. Can you like elaborate? I don't quite understand what you mean by that, but I'm open to the idea. I just don't know what you mean. Adea says, I'm probably saying your name super wrong. Addis, is that how you say your name? If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I don't mean it, but I see other people complaining about having only 10 feedbacks and 1,000 orders, and I'm at 2,500 now and 0. That's really good feedback. 10 feedbacks for 1,000 orders. Yeah, I mean, like you don't get feedback super often. It is super weird. I think like coming into Amazon, people like look at someone with like zero feedback, 1 feedback, 2 feedback, 3 feedback, and they're like, oh, look at that new seller. Like people in the YouTube videos about storefront stalking. Let's look at this small seller. And it's like a 70 feedback seller. They're like, bro, that's not a small seller. Like they probably did a mill this year. Like you could have 2 feedback and like be doing full-time numbers. Yeah. Oh, the second way. Addis. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Jose says, I mean, people asking you questions through a video call. Oh, interesting. Yeah, we could do that. I definitely am kind of up for more of a chill live stream tonight, but actually I think Cody and I would love to do that at some point. We could probably even do that like Friday or something. Yeah, almost nobody ever does that. It's a good point. I guess it would be like, it kind of makes an awkward situation if we're just like, all right, like if we have someone on the video for like 10 minutes and we're like, all right, we want to continue doing the live stream, to just like continue doing a live stream like normal. But it's a good idea. I think we might try that actually. RW, this is a good point. Seth, do you have a lot of pending orders? I have some that have been sitting there over a week and not paid. I definitely have pending orders, that's for sure. Let's see. I have 109 orders right now, open orders. Let's see. How long have they been sitting here? Let's see. My oldest pending orders are, whoa, that's so stupid. I have a pending order from 3 months ago, 2 months ago, and 1 month ago. That's so stupid. I have pending orders out the wazoo. But most of them are from a week ago or less. I don't know. I'm not going to stress the small things. It'll be okay. It is pretty silly, though, to have something pending for 3 months ago. It was a $300 like scanner thing. I guess they never paid or something. Interesting. So to answer your question, yes, I do have pending orders. Hamda says, can you share with me a different wholesaler that I can get ungated in books? I do have a video on how to get ungated in anything. So you can basically take those those principles and get engaged in books. It's basically anything that gives an invoice. So, I mean, I've heard Best Buy giving invoices. I've heard Kohl's giving invoices. I've heard EE Distribution. I've heard Frontier Co-op. There's just like, take a look at sites, and when you order something, does it give an invoice? Addis is saying, what day was your highest sales day for the last 7 days? Let me take a look. Probably the day I repriced. That's basically how it goes for me. Last 7 days, not this week, but 7 days. Let's see. Yesterday I did 2,200 in sales. Yep. So 2 days ago. Jose says, hey, Seth, do you know how to resolve a SKU that's been sent to Amazon FBA? It's been received, yet instead of active status, it's in search suppressed status. I think I've seen that before. I don't quite remember. In search suppressed, I feel like I often just have it sent back to me and I send it in. Either that or sometimes something's wrong with the pricing, so I would try messing with the pricing. Amin Salah says, would you happen to have an Excel sheet for daily profits? I don't right now, but what I would do is Inventory Lab keeps track of that for you, and then I would have another sheet that keeps track of other expenses like your software costs, prep fees, VA fees, all that stuff. And then Inventory Lab is going to say, like, let's say $9K profit for the month. And then your costs were $2,000. So you made $7,000 profit. Sean Ingram says, would you suggest using Flipmine for E to A purchases? Yeah, Flipmine's really good. Yeah, Flipmine's good. Let's see, what's good for E to A purchases? I mean, honestly, any way that you can track ASINs to see when eBay sellers come in stock at a cheap price, I find that really helpful. Jose Mata says, cool, I'll try the pricing suggestion before having it sent back to me. Yeah, sorry I couldn't help more. That's thankfully that issue doesn't happen too much for me. So yeah, let me know if you happen to figure it out, because that would be good to know how to do, you know. Jose Hernandez says, Jose, was this a multi-pack? If so, it could be a GTIN issue, and sometimes it gets suppressed because the price is too high. That's a good point. Yeah, you guys should, have you guys like started messaging each other and sharing leads? You guys said that you were going to do that last live stream. So you guys can help each other on that. But yeah, let me know if you figure that out, because that would be a good thing to know. Okay, so it's not a multi-pack. It would be cool if Amazon could like change and not have things like GTIN issues happen, or like toy compliance issues and like all those weird random things. But you kind of just have to bake that into your buying decisions. Be like, is this 19% ROI worth the chance that something weird is going to happen with this ASIN? And then say no, purchase higher ROI stuff. or stuff with better historical data. Addis is saying, have you noticed some products that you sold too early a few weeks ago? Seeing the price exploding on some of my out of stock stuff. This is my first Q4, so I had no idea how crazy it really gets. Yeah, that's a great thing to remember coming into next year. I definitely did not buy hard enough this year. Like I did well with it, but yeah, I mean, definitely. And it's hard too because like you got cash flow stuff. So like where you're not gonna like reprice in November and like wait 3 weeks on all of your inventory. Like that's a tough call. Like it's kind of up to you and your business model. If the ROI payoff is worth it, waiting 3 weeks is worth it, but that gets pretty complicated pretty quick. Jose Mata says, I'm free share leads. You can get in touch with me via Twitter at Home Finance Guy, Mobile CEO on Discord. Yeah, that's a great idea. And like, it's interesting if you share leads with people, oftentimes they'll give you leads back and you guys can really end up helping each other. I might as well add you on Twitter as well because, well, why not? I go on Twitter maybe like twice a week. Twitter's good though. I like Twitter. Home Finance Guy. Boom, 100 followers for Mobile CEO. I'm your 100 follower. Jose says, start with the pricing, but also make sure it does not show under at risk for removal section in Seller Central as well. Sometimes it's just because there's no buy box. That's a good point. Meeting ROI needs due to selling earlier is a win because you can. Meeting ROI needs due to selling earlier is a win because you can recycle your money faster because people freak out after Christmas and tank prices more. Yeah, I mean, you're basically risking that the ROI doesn't go up and you just sat on your inventory for 3 weeks. So that takes some skill for sure. Like I'd rather sell something for $7 profit instead of like $9 profit later, even at scale, I think. Addis says, well, I was forced to reprice and sell off inventory because of Amazon's restock limit. Yeah. So I couldn't really hold and wait until Q4 peak prices. Yeah. Yep. And I feel like they'll probably keep doing that. So the way to combat that is basically continuing to sell a lot of items throughout the year at a very quick speed. So because people who do that, they end up having bigger restock limits. But of course, that's very inconvenient and takes money. So you got to think about all that. There's a lot of things going on with Amazon. Aman says, thanks, Jose. Whoops. Oh, whoop. Thanks, Seth. You're welcome. So the prices tank right after Christmas. Yeah, so I don't think that actually happens all the time, but probably, let's say you made a really good buy and then after Christmas happens, like it's not going to tank. But like if it was a bad buy anyways, and then it's also after Christmas and there's just too many sellers on the listing, not enough demand, like, yeah, it's going to tank for sure. There's a psychology around it like, oh, shoot, my items are still in stock and it's after Christmas and people aren't going to buy my presents. Man, I'm going to sell break even now. Like that sometimes happens. Jose says, when you see FBM prices higher than FBA in Q4, cues you into higher price if you're FBM for Q4. Yeah. Yeah, FBM is really good for Q4, and I'm so bad and inexperienced at FBM that it did not feel like the right choice for me to get into it. Tanking, depending on the categories, some toys may, even though toys sell all year round. Yep, it's a good point. Also, I see it a lot in apparel, unfortunately. So many people are like, yeah, apparel just pops in Q4, but then um, the spring comes and they're just like, oh, apparel's saturated. Or maybe it was overinflated in Q4. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out today. A lot of really good interaction. Cody and I will be continuing together in on a live stream tomorrow. If you guys are curious about ungating, I do have a video here about how to get ungated in anything. I'm gonna give you guys the link if you guys are curious on how to actually do that. Basically, the idea of it is that anything to get ungated in, you basically have to send in 10 units of something that matches on Amazon. And so basically, here is the video on that. I go in depth with it. And this video is going to help you be able to get ungated in whatever you're wanting to get ungated in. The title is How to Get Ungated in Anything on Amazon FBA in 2022. It's on my channel. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and take care.